Jade is an 18-year-old entrepreneur who first started her entrepreneur business when she was only 16 years old. In the first part of our 2-segment interview, Jade talks about the struggles of being a young entrepreneur, why it's important to brand yourself, and also how you can market to Gen Z. We covered a lot in this interview, so we're going to jump right in and talk about her new app.
All right, awesome.
All right, so go ahead and tell me about your app.
All right. So PBJ is a app that helps creators struggle with staying consistent and finding a personalized roadmap. We help them basically create a actual plan. I think the biggest problem I've seen is there's too many courses and there's too much information. The solution is not to, if you're someone who makes content, the solution is not to grow your brand by like just throwing more and more tips and tricks. It's personally just like executing correctly. So we built an app to take your ideas and make a actual plan out of it. So that's a little bit about PBJ.
That's awesome. So that's your goal then, just to help people help their brands.
Oh yeah, 100%. And also my goal in the future is to take this to more events, like using the app just as a way to connect so we can do more live and in-person things. I feel like the real end goal is just to touch base in the app, but really to also like meet up in real life. I think that's like the transition I also want to make.
That's cool. So what inspired you then to help brands market to Gen Z?
I think it's just the fact that everyone who markets to Gen Z is like 40 and 70. Like, I feel like, to be honest, it's just like the best person to ask is the generation you're trying to market to. And my real big inspiration is just to inspire others that if you feel like you're not, like, here's the thing, I dropped out of high school and I don't have the highest credibility out there, maybe you could say, but I just wanted to show people that you don't fucking need any label or title to do any type of career path. That's simply what I think is what I'm trying to go after.
That's really inspiring, especially to the people who also drop out of school and they feel like they're going to work at McDonald's for the rest of their life. So you are a good example of you can still do things. So what would you say are some challenges that you faced since you've launched your business and, on your social media platforms, things that you're still trying to overcome?
This is a good question. Every day I have like 2 or 3 mental breakdowns. I don't know about you, but maybe I have a mental breakdown like twice a day in the morning and then afternoon, I'll have another one. It's mainly, it's mainly actually, weirdly enough, and this is really personal for me, I had really weird problems with feeling like I need to be a certain it's so bad. I have this eating problem where this is just like a random, not really business related, but I will take out any stress at work. Like, say I didn't hit enough sales. Like, if I didn't hit enough sales, I would basically not do, I would just cry myself to sleep and then not eat the next day. So I would basically take my problems I had in business and reflect it into my personal life to torture myself. That's exactly the cycle I do all the time. It's so sad.
I think I feel too. You're kind of shunning yourself, oh, you did bad, just go cry and don't eat anything, kind of thing.
It's so bad. I will basically tie my identity so close to my brand that if the business is doing bad, I'm doing bad. Do you ever do that to you're with school or you just tie yourself so close? Yeah,
it's exam time. I literally just had an exam that I didn't study for that well. So I'm just sitting here oh wow, now I'm just gonna fail at my entire life because
100%.
But honestly, you get over it. So in terms of social media then as well, what are some obstacles that you face, you think, with branding?
Honestly, weirdly enough, it's been again, going back to my personal problem, which is I tie my identity so close to how I'm progressing. It's input and output. The more I do, the happier I am, which is really fucked up because, at least on social media, I felt like because you get certain success, whether it's followers or increase in views, you feel like you have to put a certain show on to keep it up because you always want to keep growing. In a weird way, it's a good thing I think my best example of this is like if you ever feel like you won a competition, or if you're at school and you got an A, like if you got A's your entire life and you got an A minus, it's detrimental. And so like for me, that's the same way. Like I feel like I was cruising on an A, and A minus isn't bad. Of course it's not. But just because it's a little lower from your standard, you start to like question yourself. So for example, I started making videos that like got a lot of views, or I get, a lot of likes. And then I stopped getting certain likes. And then I'm like now questioning my head, like, who am I? Which is really weird. So that's what I've been going through personally, like trying to strip away the identity with my progress.
Yeah, no, I get that, because this is what you do. Like, this is your thing. So if you can't do your thing right, you're like, what am I then?
Well, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I agree. So do you think that your age comes as an advantage or a disadvantage in the field that you're in right now?
I used to think of it as a disadvantage until I realized that, going back to what I said earlier, there's no point in that's weird, what happened. There's no point in hiring someone that's an expert in something they can't relate to. So unless you're in a field that's medical or law, like, please go to school, please learn all the things you can. I don't want a doctor that's operating on me that just like white it on YouTube. Yeah, like, no. But if it's marketing, which is constantly changing, then age feels irrelevant.
That's true. What made you feel like you could drop out then? Like what made you take that path and say, you know what, I don't need school, I think I'm gonna do fine?
Well, not to scare anyone, but I just saw two things. I just noticed trends. The first one being, don't follow my path, but a lot of my friends are dropping out, so I dropped out. No, I'm joking. I just noticed that a lot of people were able to make enough money to lose the security of school and a regular job. That's the first trend I saw. So I kind of mapped it out. Like, weird enough, like if the quotes, like, what did I say? If your friend jump off a cliff, would you jump off too? Like, it was kind of like that. But the second thing is, because of the rise of automation and technology, like, things constantly change, which is why marketing always changes. So a lot of the jobs that you want to go into, in the next 10 years, 40% of it will be automized. So a lot of people don't see this, but I believe like Walmart just laid off a bunch of people. They hired like truck drivers, robots. So there's no more truck drivers in the next 10 years. I think there's just a lot of movement that no one's really seeing, which is why I dropped out.
I guess you saw things that other people weren't seeing or weren't interested in, right? So
yeah. So the solution is no longer getting a degree and like cruising by if most of the jobs are being automated. I think it's staying creative. And there's still going to be jobs out there, but if school isn't for you, I'm telling you, it's not for everyone. Yeah,
that's true. So I also know that you do a little bit of music as well. And, so like our company, that's our thing. We search new artists up, and we're always out there, trying to help artists brand themselves as well. So just tell me what gave you the inspiration to make Flex on the Gram?
Yeah, this is honestly the only part of the interview that matters. So Flex on the Gram is a song that is making fun of all these fake influencers. I play personality that makes fun of the people that flex on Lamborghinis and show their cars and makes them like scam into a course. Like, that's the person I try to make fun of, because I think so many people, at least in this industry with musicians, and I mean, maybe you can relate, but people take themselves way too seriously. And that's where I go back to the thing. Like, the reason why I went crazy over tying my identity so close to my likes and followers is because I took myself way too seriously. Like, I thought I was a shit, remember? Like, I thought I was like so important. Like, I am like creator on the rise. Like, I have 100,000 subscribers. Like, that's how I saw myself.
Yeah.
I made a song just to say fuck all that. Like, I don't care how many followers I have, because at the end of the day, I'm just a 17-year-old girl. I can have fun. If I fail, that's okay. So, I mean, at the same time, flexing the gram is a bop, and it's it makes fun of maybe things you can relate to. The real meaning and what inspired me to make it was just to stop fucking taking yourself so seriously.
I think that's really good. So did you write the music then yourself, or did you have help?
So our producer is named Rafi J. I wrote the song lyrics, but it needed help as fuck, because y'all know that
Can't do everything.
I can't do everything. No, the flow was a problem. I remember when I was recording it in our producer's studio, he looked at my lyrics. He's like, this needs some help. So a collective effort of Rafi J, Haley Fam, and my friend Ryan, we helped each other to make a better song than we did. I know so many artists, when I give them this advice, they roll their eyes. Make a cover, then make an original. If there's any guru on YouTube that's telling you, like, do this or do that, like, they don't know shit. Because you make music based on where your audience lives. You follow the crowd. You follow where your audience lives. Why the fuck are you posting a selfie? Like, is it just for your ego? Or because you really want to help someone achieve? Like, I just think that too many people are so inward focused on, like, why am I not getting engagement? Why am I not growing? My question for you is, how are you engaging with other people?